Weirdly honest here, guys. This is part one in a computer series of what my new computer rig is going to be. The wife is basically getting my old machine, and it gave me an excuse to get a new one. So part one is going to be the case here, which is the Thermaltake Core X71, which, as you can see, is a full tower. It's modular, and I haven't quite opened it yet, so I don't know. This is just the front of the manual here. And I kind of browsed through it a little bit, but we're going to look through the case here and see what all it does. I tried opening up the side panel here, and I don't really like these thumb screws. They're not your typical thumb screws that are kind of oversized that give you a good grip. You can actually use a screwdriver if you want, like most thumb screws, but for whatever reason these are extremely tight. So that's why I've got my handy dandy screwdriver here. But the nice thing about these, and I think that's part of the reasoning why they put them in, is they obviously do not come off the side of the case here. So let's pop off the side, find out what's inside. So I've also discovered that there are two sets of screws to get the panel off. There are the thumb screws, and it looks like a set that you actually need a screwdriver for. So I wish I would have looked at that before I bought the case, but this has gotten so many good reviews online, because this just came out a few months ago, that it looked like it was going to cover all the needs that I had. So I might just leave these back screws off if they're not contingent on the extra parts coming off here. But as you can clearly see, it's a plexiglass fitting there. And ooh-wee, look at this. All the extra little parts that we have. We've got couple sets of fans, and what I really like about this case is they claim it's fully modular. And so, as you can kind of see, there are hard drive trays that you can pull out that just are toolless. I don't know if you can see that there, that don't require any kind of tools. I find it kind of funny that they call it a toolless case, but you still need a screwdriver to get the screws off the back. So I find that kind of interesting. But you can see all the rubber grommets here for your water cooling if you want to do that. I'm not really a water cooling guy. I like fans myself. And what's nice about this is you can fit multiple configurations of fans inside the case. And so I want to say you can do two 140s or three 120s on top. Same kind of configuration on the side down where the power supply goes, but they can also have a radiator setting too. It actually does come stock with fans in the front here for the cooling, and I'll probably not mess with those, but I will probably get some other fans just to kind of increase the flow of the case. I mean, you've got the stuff from the CPU cooler and from the or the heat sink, if you will, and from the fans underneath here where the power supply is. So we'll be able to get it going, but it looks like it's already got the I/O cables here. You've got a couple of the fan cables. Got some 5.5-inch bays. You've got 1, 2, 3 hard drive bays. I'm not seeing really anything else here. They said that you could fit quite a bit of stuff, but I'm guessing they didn't include it here, so I might have to look through the manual, because I think you can stick another hard drive bay right in here too. One of the other, oh, it looks like, okay, you might have another one right down in here. I don't know if you can see that because of the lighting, but one of the other things that I did like is it actually has magnetic screen filters for the top and bottom of the case, which, if you're using normal hard drives, obviously you got to be careful with any kind of magnets or anything, because that can kind of ruin your day when it comes to hard drives. Well, any kind of electronics. So you gotta kind of be careful with any kind of magnets, but looks like it's a solid case so far. So we'll take a break, and I'll see if I can give you a little bit better inside of the case. Okay, and so we can see the inside of the case here. One feature that I really love of older cases, and it's kind of breaking the trend a little bit, is we're going back to the fixed motherboard trays. And so I liked it better when you could slide them out and kind of get the board assembled and all the parts in there. Now I can understand why they do them fixed now, because a lot more heat sinks are a lot taller, and I can show in another part of the series what my board and heatsink and stuff are. But this actually has a limitation of up to 7 inches for the heatsink and 10.9 inches, I believe, for the video card. So there's quite a bit amount of space in here. It does actually allow you to fully move the hard drive brackets around. You can, I think, mount them in the power supply bay too, but it looks like not very many fans actually come stock with the case. I'm just seeing the 2 on the front here and the 1 in the back, but I'm going to give you a little preview here of the different configurations. And so it looks like you can have 2 200 fans, 3 140s, or 3 120s in the top, side, front, and down where the power supplies are. You could put a 140 in the back, which that looks like what it came stock with. For the liquid cooling enthusiasts, on this page it looks like you've got a whole different array of configurations that you can do for your water cooling. And so pretty cool case from what I can tell, as far as trying to figure out what you want to do for, you know, mounting your drives. I mean, you can move this up if you've got a longer card anyway. But it just really depends on, you know, personal taste on how you want to configure your setup. And so I think this case really kind of offers that. We'll also look at all the accessories here, which we'll see what it comes with. It looks like, I'm not really sure, I think those are power supply brackets to mount it in there. Looks like we've got some just miscellaneous screws, cable ties, looks like a little speaker for your motherboard there. Comes with 8-pin and 4-pin splitter there. Looks like some more mounting brackets for your power supply. So you've got a set of 4 of those. Looks like you've got some fan extenders here, and then looks like it's just got some rubber feet. And so that's the look at the Thermaltake Core X71 modular case that I think has been out since February or March of 2016. So part 1 in a multiple part series of what my case is, and have a nice day. Weirdly honest here in part 2. I thought that I needed a part 2 after taking off the sides of the case and kind of looking at the case itself a little bit closer. Found out some interesting things that I thought some people that would actually be interested in buying the case, because when I looked online, I watched a couple YouTube videos from Newegg and a couple other websites that kind of did, you know, the 10-minute spiel about, oh, this is cool and this is that. Well, it didn't really have a lot of the nitty-gritty that you would look for if you're trying to buy a case yourself and kind of do the enthusiast thing. One thing that I did find out is those thumb screws that control the panels do come off. They're a little bit smaller than I would prefer, but they do the job. Pulled off the back and the front part of the case. One thing that you will notice is that it has the screen filters on the front, and has the magnetic filters down where the power supply stuff is, which is kind of neat. And remove the hard drive bay, which this is kind of neat because it does actually slide in like that. I'm not really sure why you need the riser in there to come out, but I did have to pull the riser out in order to get at the 140 drives that were in the front of the case, because you can do a 120 or 140 in the back. It came stock with the 140 in the back and then 2 140s in the front. However, what I want to do and what the manual says is that you can actually do 200 mil. I don't know know if you can see that from back here, but you can do two 200s on the top and two 200s on the front. So that's actually what I'm going to do after I go to the store and buy some more fans. Because the case is so big, I'll probably have to get some port extenders too, because mounting the fans in the case, I'm just going to use the water cooling grommets on the back to feed the fan cables back through here. But obviously it's not going to be long enough for some of the fans, so I'll probably have to get some extenders at the store. Just miscellaneous cables and stuff, and you can't really figure that out until you get a case and kind of plan out how you're going to do your build. But it is nice that the hard drive bay is modular, and the fact that you can mount it up here or here. I did look in the manual and you can do that. This can pop out too, and I'll probably leave it out. I just wanted to leave it in there just so you guys can kind of see how that fits in there. But this actually does fit a water radiator as well. There is a screen filter here on the bottom, which I think it pulls up the front. Figure out where it is. But there is a plastic screen on the bottom for filtering. But like I said, you can do the 200 mil or 20 centimeter. And actually on the back here, I found some interesting stuff, is that even though the hard drive bay, it only comes with one and has slots for 3, you do have 2 extra plastic brackets that can sit on the back here. And because the hard drive bay was mounted right here, you could actually, I'll do this one so you guys can see it. It pops right off there, and then you can slide it in there too. I'm not going to do that because it's a pain in the butt on that one. But it is nice that it kind of is toolless, and the fact that you can pop it back on there and boom, you've got 3 extra slots that come stock, or well, 2, because you've got the brackets. I don't know if you can buy the brackets online, but I'm sure you can. Haven't really looked into the accessories that you can get for the case, but overall it looks pretty nice. It does come with the input output for the front and the top, which I'll kind of position it down here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's got the power button, it's got the HD audio for your headset and your mic, it's got a reset button, 2 3.0 slots and 2 2.0 slots for your USB. And so that is kind of nice, because I think I'm going to have to put this on the floor based on just how tall it is. My current case is a full tower case, but I think it comes to about right here. It does sit on my desk, and so the wife kind of wants to be able to see me when we're sitting next to each other in the office, but we'll see. We'll see if it becomes the case between us on the desk, but we'll figure it out. But it is nice. I just wanted to kind of include that in kind of a part 2 of the X71, the core X71 Thermaltake case. It does have the water grommets on the back. They are pretty nice. They're not the cheapy ones that that are the hard plastic. These are actually rubber, and so I don't think any of your cables, cheap or expensive, would get frayed on the back here, and that's kind of what they're meant for, because on a lot of cases you get the cheap plastic stuff where it can actually slice up your wires. But for now, I think that about covers all the extra little things that I found in the case. I'm just kind of looking it over one more time for you guys. You can actually mount the hard drive bay underneath here where the power supply bay is. If you really need that kind of space, I plan on using, you know, a rated array for storage, but I haven't quite figured out how many drives I'm going to use for that. I think I'm just going to do a RAID 1 for my storage, but I don't think that will really be a requirement to get an extra hard drive bay just for that specifically. My boot drive is actually M2 drive, so that's mounted on the motherboard, and I don't need the extra chassis piece for that. But as it stands right now, pretty cool case. I do wish that the motherboard tray was removable, but I do understand that it's not coming standard with a lot of cases. So this is Beerly Anna signing off, and you have a Beerly fantastic day.